Our top story this afternoon, all 17 passengers on a Pokhara-bound flight in Nepal and the co-pilot have been confirmed dead. The pilot of the plane has been hospitalized with critical injuries. Take a look at what happened in the seconds before the crash at the Tribhuvan International Airport. Now, the Nepal government has issued a statement saying that the plane took off at 11:11 a.m. this morning, turned on its side and crashed. The aircraft, operated by local carrier Shaurya Airlines, was carrying 2 crew members and 17 technicians to Pokhara city for maintenance checks. Investigations into the crash are still underway. The airlines operates domestic flights within Nepal and uses 2 Bombardier CRJ-200 regional jets, both of which are approximately 20 years old. Nepal, remember, has faced significant criticism over its air safety record. Recently, in January 2023, a Yeti Airlines crash resulted in 72 deaths attributed to a pilot error in cutting off power. Now, all flight operations at the Nepal airport have, for now, resumed after this crash happened. So that's the latest that's coming in from Nepal. That crash, extremely unfortunate and shocking. In fact, those visuals, as you can see on your screens, the plane took off, and as soon as it took off, it crashed at the Tribhuvan International Airport. On board the aircraft were 17 people. All of them are dead. The pilot is still critical. He's being treated at a hospital. The co-pilot is also killed in this unfortunate tragedy that took place this morning. Investigation into this entire crash are still underway, but flight operations and normalcy has returned to the Nepal airport. All right, joining me on the broadcast right now is my colleague Adarsh. He is in fact a journalist right now, but he's also a trained pilot. Adarsh, help us understand, what could have caused this crash. The investigation is still underway, but as soon as this aircraft took off, it crashed, and the visuals have been shocking and concerning. What could have caused this?
Well, Shreya, it is a tragic accident indeed, and you just mentioned one of the key aspects of this entire crash, that it happened right after takeoff. That's very important to note. But let's get a few facts correct at the beginning. It's a Bombardier CRJ-200. It's a smaller aircraft, can carry about 50 passengers, and on this aircraft, there were a total of 19 people on board, 2 crew members and 17, what is being reported, technical staff of the Shaurya Airlines, a Nepal-based airline. Now, this particular airline has a few aircraft, but again, if you look at the main visual that we're talking about, the crash, one can clearly see that this is right after takeoff. So it is very conspicuous, it is very strange and unusual as to why the aircraft had to make such an intense turn right after takeoff. Now, any passenger would know that once your aircraft goes airborne, once it takes off, it continues to maintain a straight path until it reaches a certain altitude, and that helps it to attain the required speed. Only after that does the aircraft make its turn, left or right. It does not make a turn right after takeoff. But again, if one were to look at the visuals, it becomes very clear that the turn, there was something that was going wrong. There was no reason why the pilot would have to turn almost so immediately after takeoff. It almost seems as though something was amiss, something must have gone wrong. But again, you're talking about the Tribhuvan International Airport, notorious for its wind conditions, notorious for its landing and takeoff. Pilots usually dread this particular airport and the strip over there. But yes, there could be a couple of factors. It could be
Adarsh, exactly what I was coming to,
because as I said,
the fact that there are concerns about the tabletop runways as well. Nepal's airports, Nepal's runways have been infamous for that, something that has been a cause of concern as well for the Nepal aviation sector.
Yes, that's correct, Shreya. In fact, most airports in Nepal, including the Pokhara airport, they're usually surrounded by mountains, and both takeoffs and landings are quite challenging, requiring the pilots to in fact, maneuver their aircraft into a certain path to be able to land or maybe take off as well. So yes, challenging airports, and not just the terrain around the airport, as you mentioned, the tabletop runways also, but with the terrain comes the very unpredictable wind pattern, and that makes it very difficult for pilots to navigate. But from my training, I can tell you for sure that a passenger aircraft, so to speak, should not be turning so quickly right after takeoff. It's very important to note that this crash happened right before takeoff. And what's more surprising, Shreya, is that one of the pilots managed to survive a little bit of injury in the eyes, and I read reports that said that he's currently stable. So yes, we'll have to wait and see as to what the pilot's accounts are, and of course the black box will be critical, Shreya.
Absolutely, Adarsh. Of course, we also know that there have been concerns in the Nepal aviation sector about the safety and the updation of the equipment as well, something because of which European Union airspace has banned Nepalese aircraft from entering it. But thank you very much, Adarsh, for joining us at the moment and helping us understand what exactly could have happened and how this could have gone so wrong. With that, viewers,